everybody. So today I'm gonna talk about my sexuality. As you guys know, I'm part of the LGBTQIA, and I'm more emphasized to the IA because I'm actually asexual and aromantic, and I've been this way for a long time. I think it's since last year, and I've already made it public on my Instagram because I actually posted on my insta DP that I have this too on my finger, and I didn't actually really publicly talk about it, but today I will talk about it. I actually was in a campaign, and it's not really ran in Singapore, but it's from a US thing, and I know her because she's the one who was organizing, and she compiled everybody who talked about their ACE experience. But I just wanna do it for my YouTube video now and just share with you guys. So I actually started to know that I'm aromantic and asexual from actually a really young age. From a young age, I already know that I don't really care or want anything of romantic sense or especially sexual sense. And I actually had a history of being really close to a guy, but unfortunately I lost him, and I just think that that might be the reason why I'm like this now, but it doesn't really hold any significance. Of course, it's still painful to me, but I realized that that kind of really shaped me for being like that. And I honestly still have a lot of love for who I was, and him, because he's the first close guy friend that I've ever really got close with. But then eventually I realized that even when I was working at that really young age, from 18 or 19, I just started to had this realization where I'm just not going to even really feel anything from any romance or anything. And I've always been, when I was really young, I always thought to myself is anybody gonna get married? It's just a really random thought, but it wasn't from me, because I didn't ever had the thought of wanting to get married. I actually know from what I see online that girls love to imagine that they're gonna get married, and I feel like I have never thought about that until it's just a fleeting thought. And I honestly don't like it. Even now I'm I will never get married, and I don't think I'll ever have a partner, because I highly doubt that I will have one, or so yeah. And it's just something that really kind of, it's normal to me, because I feel like I accept myself who I am. But it's a really nice thing that I'm not alone, and I know my community, and I know my space, and I know who I really am, and that I'm not alone. It's a really tough thing to swallow when I was always in denial that I'm always alone in my journey. There were some parts of myself that I couldn't feel that I could accept it, because I was really ashamed, and I thought that I was alone because I had a really rough childhood of myself, and I just feel like it's something that really kind of shaped me. And I just think that it's I'm more open to something that there are others like me, and it's a nice thing to really experience. And I always know that I'm not alone because I join support groups, and yeah. But I always knew when I was young that I honestly didn't really watch anything. I would, I was young, I just have a really, all my I had a lot of tantrums, and I would have breakdowns to myself, and I was crying because I obviously didn't have it like easy, and I don't really remember like, you know, watching anything like that would trigger me, because I think I knew from young that like I was just doing nothing. Like I would just like probably sleep and yeah, but then now like there's always like content like films, movies, music videos that's always going to be about like love and relationships and about sex. And I feel so excluded and misplaced because that's not what I really relate to. And then I'm just like, it's been a long time coming, and I'm like, things change and it sucks because everything changes. So yeah, I kind of miss like those times where I didn't care, because now I feel like I care a lot, and it's really hard for me to handle. But yeah, so and then eventually I found out about like the term of asexual and aromantic, because I was really finding out on my phone like, why can't I feel anything. And then I realized that labels like aromantic and asexual came out, and I'm like, eventually I found my place on Facebook, and that's how I really know that this is who I am. And I don't really experience anything of attraction of like either romantic or sexual. Like even if I do have that, I would like, maybe I'm just like more like fantasizing in my head, but in real life I have zero of that. I always thought of like uh, people, and you know that I like them, but it's not really something like that's reciprocated. And I found out even in my young young days, and even with the first guy ever that I talked about before, I really was really close to him, and I kind of was pressured to like ask, like if he likes me more. But the thing is, he didn't like me that way, and I think it always, even nowadays, if I were to say it to a guy, it wouldn't be like reciprocated, and it's just something that I kind of like accepted. But this is also why I don't really have any like newfound sense of like attraction to new people. Like I can already feel it now, and I don't need anybody new to like tell me about it. And honestly, I'm not even like happy with guys. I'm more happy with girls. So I've always liked girls, and I think they're amazing. They look really pretty, but apparently I just feel like I cannot like even really talk to pretty girls at all because I'm really shy. But yeah, I've always liked the aesthetic of girls, and I think guys are alright, but like they always kind of like, I mean, my experiences with them is really bad. Like even if it's just friends, like it's still bad. It's nothing that's gonna like make me feel like they're everything, because they're apparently not. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm so like happy that I'm like this. Like I honestly still feel like I'm romantic and asexual, but like other times when I'm like really thinking about someone, like a famous celebrity, I would go to like progrosexual. But actually in real life, I'm nothing like that. Like I don't want anything to do with romance, sex, anything like that. Any relationship things, I would just not go there. I don't know if I'm like jaded or because I don't have anybody like that I was really like committed with, so I wouldn't. Yeah, I couldn't even know what it's like to have someone who's like that sense, because I'm very like reaching that high standard. Like I'm a very perfectionist person when it comes to love. When things don't go my way, I would just tend to get like really sad, or you know, or like remember like little things too much. I think it's probably because I'm very like sensitive, but not too sensitive. I'm like a bit, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't go my way. I'm like, I can't do this because it makes my mental health like really bad. But yeah, my brain is just like tend to get obsessed and I'm depressed about things. Like it can never like just be calm. Like there are times where it's calm, but like it's a really terrible thing to deal with. So yeah, and also I think those years where obviously, as you guys know, I am diagnosed with schizophrenia. So basically, I mean, people don't know that with schizophrenia you have like autistic and like OCD traits. So it's like obviously that's why I say my brain's like not all like calm or like, it's like, and I get like really stimulated if like the voices come or if I see something on social media, because social media is a really rough place because it's like it triggers you because it shows you things that like you didn't even ask for. I get like meltdowns and stuff, so I don't like, I really like it, but kind of like sharing my health scare at that time because I was on antipsychotics at that time, which currently right now I'm not on any and I'm doing alright on my own because I chose to be this way. But like I was on antipsychotics and it ruined me because it gave me this condition called hypopituitarism, and it just like makes the person feel like they cannot feel love, and it's like a really big slap to my face because I've already since young I've already felt like I can never feel love, and I just feel like it's something like that's natural to me. But once I read a fact about like how about this condition that you really feel no love at all, it kind of makes me like so like upset about why people have this. And obviously I don't have it now because the main trigger that made me have this is because of my antipsychotics that was on, which is like I said, like I'm psychiatry. It's a really really bad thing to be on. It affects your period and stuff. Like I didn't have a period for you when I was really really young, so now it's like I'm free of it. But I'm just sharing with you guys, it's a really terrible condition to have because you know how like people, women who have periods, and then when they reach old age, like PMS, like I literally have hot flashes like PMS, and I really felt it to my face, and I felt like I was burning, my face was burning. It was a really really tough thing to handle, and like you just feel like your body's just like I give up, like like everything like is affected, like physical and like mental, and it's a really like shitty thing to have. Like I'm like all right now. Like I'm so glad that I don't have any like medical like conditions like physically. Like eczema, of course I had it my whole life, but it's like all right now. It's like it's not that bad when I was young, but I couldn't imagine someone who have such a terrible condition like that. It's something that no one should deal with. And yeah, so it's just really really like something that makes you feel like that person wouldn't really like, I mean, say like, oh, I'm asexual or aromantic. Like I'm pretty sure there are people out there who also like maybe they just don't get a partner, or like they just feel like they're not interested in being in a relationship or anything about love and sex. And it's like I get it, but it's like I feel like people, like I'm not just someone who's really that special because I have these two rings or because I in a community. I feel like people like are like us, but it's like they don't. I feel like people just don't want to talk about it. They want to identify as being asexual and aromantic, but I feel like it's common. Like even people nowadays be like they want to get married, they don't want to have a long partner. So it's like it's so common for me, and I feel like a bit less lonely. But for me, I've always been sad to my mind that I'm not gonna even get married. I can't even have a partner. I can't even feel like I can give love to my partner because I feel like I still feel nothing. Even when I was like having that condition, I didn't really care about having like any feelings. It was just terrible to deal with myself. So all of my life, like even if I knew someone or anything, it probably wouldn't go well. When it goes well, they're just my friends, and I'm like, yeah, I think it's pretty cool that I'm like, is that who I am, and it's still like a journey, because people, I will always ask me, some people along the way, how do you deal with loneliness, how do you deal with it? And honestly, not seeing the cameras, I don't really reflect on it a lot, because obviously people can get lonely even if they have someone or if they're alone. And I think for me, it's more like I've always loved to sing, and I just sing, and it helps me, because if I have like emotions that are so hard to like release because it's so bad in myself, I just sing a song. Like a song is like a story, and you kind of like get inside the song itself. You're like, oh, this singer's talking about this, and it's like you like kind of, when you're singing, it's like it's you like singing along the singer, because you aren't really like, kind of like from reality, like not disconnecting or dissociating, but it's like you kind of like distract yourself from reality. And I think that's just the way it is, like find something that brings you like, this is a distraction, because reality is really difficult to like deal with. But then when you also find something you enjoy doing, like gaming, like I play Sims, like it really helps with like depression. And yeah, but the thing is, like, it's always important to be with yourself instead of being with someone who makes you feel alone, who makes you feel like you're not good enough beside the person, or there's something lacking between you and a person, because that's just the way that that person has to go out of life. Or everybody can experience loneliness, but the thing is, when you are with someone you know who's like your friend, like it's like the best thing you can do is to text your friend or be with your friend. Maybe help you feel less lonely. And you know but the thing is, like, there's still some concepts that I don't agree with, like you need to love yourself before you love others. Like, I think everybody is a mess on their own, and it's only the right people who will like go to you and like accept you. So it doesn't matter if you hate yourself, you're depressed, or you're this or that. I feel like you're still gonna find people who will stay. And yeah, and then you know just everything, like, feel like everything starts from yourself. So I feel like place yourself first for others. That's the thing I'm still trying to like learn, because I completely understand that, and I really thought once that, like the concept of like having a partner will make your life like either miserable or like happier. But since I've always been alone my whole life, I've always like wanted to really like kind of like be here for myself, because it's like tough. Like, it's not always about like someone else. Like, I think that importance is about yourself, and it doesn't really come from anybody else. It's just like knowing you have to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day you still have yourself to take care of. And yeah, so yeah, I think friendships are like the best. But yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's important to like also know that if you feel like you're different from others, like you're not alone, or you feel like nobody else in the world is going through the unsimilar shit, then there's always someone else who can always be there to help you and get through it. So you're never alone, and it's a good way. Like, yeah, so I just want to make this video to like tell that, like, who I am as in the LGBTQIA, and I'm just really glad I get to share this experience with you guys. So thank you so much for listening.